welcome to my channel, my little corner of the internet where I talk all about cross stitch, sewing, knitting, and all the other crafty things I get up to. Today is Flosstube, I think 29. I think so, almost to 30. Wowza. I am still a little bit tired because I'm filming this before work, so very early. But since winter seems finally to be over, it's already daylight out. So nice. First, before we get into stitching, I want to say a big thank you for all your lovely comments, your views, your likes on my last video. I had a long break in filming and I didn't expect so many views, so many comments. This just shows again that this community is so amazing. So thank you so much. I had planned to film again last weekend after 2 weeks, but then I realized that next weekend I will be away on a retreat in London, so I won't be able to film there. And so I thought I'll just push it to 3 weeks this time and then film again after London. So this is what we're doing here today. And with that, let's jump right into stitching. Stitchy wise, I feel like day to day I did not stitch as much as I did maybe last year. I don't know, the amount of stitches was just not that much, but even so, I managed to get 4 finishes done and 1 fully finish. And that's because I'm not really starting a lot of things and I'm working on a lot of smalls this year. Let's start with fully finishes. This one has been stitched for quite a while and I finally managed to fully finish it. Ta-da! Oh, it's so cute. This little pillow is made out of a scrap, a part of Anton Uffindale 1835 by Hands Across the Seas. I had started the whole sampler last year at the end of February, and this is stitched with the Avere Assois silks on 46 count, I think cream and sugar linen by Farbonny Whim. And while it looks great, it was so hard to stitch. So in my opinion, the silks are just a little bit thicker than DMC, and that on the 46 count was hard. Plus, I then realized that there's quite a bit of 101 stitching on that chart to do. No, I would never have finished it. So I cut out that little part, saved the fabric for something else, and it had been languishing forever. And I finally made a little pillow out of it. So that's the front, and in the back I have a cute fabric, and then the ribbon is out of my grandma's sewing case kit. Yeah. Very happy to finally have this done, and my plan is to start over the chart very soon. Let's move on to finishes then. The first one is a start and a finish. The chart is by Modern Folk Embroidery, and this is a pre-stitching that I have been doing for the retreat next weekend. I'm going to the sampler weekend of Stitch in London, and we had some pre-stitching to do because there will be a class on finishing a needlebook. And ta-da! And this is my start and finish. I think it took me about a week, and this is it. So I stitched this on 32 count Lucan by Zweigart, one of my favorite fabrics for modern folk embroidery, it seems. And the instructions said to use whatever colors we liked and to maybe coordinate them with quilting cotton we're going to use for the inside. So this is stitch 2/2, and I used English Ivy by Classic Colorworks, Mulberry by Gentle Arts, one of my favorite colors, and Golden Hour by Roxy Floss. Oh, I love those colors, and they were based off of this fabric. Okay, now I have not enough hands. This is a quilting cotton that my friend Fanny from Cross Stitch Couture gifted me in our secret Santa, and she brought this over from the US for me. And I mean, it is dark green and it has sunflowers. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this is going to work and how it looks finished. I still have to cut up my fabric. I have way too much on here, but I will do that before I leave on Thursday. So this was a quick finish number one. The next one was again a start and a finish. I started my March Pretty Kitty by Brita Cup Designs. I want to do every monthly chart in its month this year, and they are quick stitch and very fun to do. I still don't know how to finish them or how to fully finish them, so they have been languishing, but oh well. So Marches is this one. I started this March 9th and finished it March 13th. It has just over 1,200 stitches, and the fabric wants to show itself because it's a very special fabric. This is 32 count Lugana, and it is hand dyed by my friend Alex from Select Stitches. It was just perfect for that March kitty. And I'm using different 32 count fabrics for all of the cats, stitching them 2/2. And this one, I'm always using the 310 black and different over dyes from my stash. And for this one, I even used some Kreinik and sparkly Swaderge, I think. Super cute, super quick. I love how he's lounging on that sack of gold. Is it gold? I don't know. He's cute. It's a he, yes, because I have a male cat, so all cats are male now. The next finish I have is or was in this project bag, and this was part of my temperature stitching. And then I had to go on a work trip last week and thought what I wanted to bring for stitching on the train. And this was perfect. And it had just about 400 stitches left, I think. So I managed to finish this while I was in Vienna. This is Seasons of the Heart Spring by Brenda Terray with the needle and thread. It's not ironed, but oh well. This is my finish. I stitched this on 35 count light mocha linen by Zweigart, 1/2 with CXC threads, and I did my completely own color conversion for this. For example, the original had like a beigey house, and I made my house more dusty pink. And in the original, they want you to cut out the season tags out of the booklet and sew it on, but I didn't want to destroy the booklet. So I just charted and stitched spring in here. So happy to have this done. And I even know how to fully finish this. So I also have winter done. This is winter. This is spring. Ooh. Ah. Hard to show, but I bought these little boards sometime, I don't know, they were cheap, and I thought I could like do a flat, is it a flat finish? I thought I would just mount them on some foam board and then put them on here with magnets, something like this. The size is perfect, and then just flip out the seasons. I still want to stitch the other two seasons. I just have to figure out how to do summer because there are a lot of American flags in there. So yeah, I think this could be very cute. What do you think? And then again, while I was away on my work trip at the train ride home, I finished another of my temperature pieces. This is in my sunflower croquette, and it is so cute and tiny. This is Sunflower Garden by the Old Barn Stitching Co. This was in our table gift bag from the Big Stitch. I stitched mine with the called for cottage garden threads, as well as 2 overdyed browns, 1/1 on 27 count Linda. It's, I mean, it's so tiny and cute. I love how this turned out. It's just folded at the moment. I don't know. I think I will try a flat fold with this. It's it's lovely. Yeah. Super happy to have this done as well. We had super nice blue skies earlier when I started filming, and now it's cloudy, so I had to change up the lighting a little bit. And also, why is it that always, as soon as I start filming, I get the famous Flosstube itchy nose and start sneezing? What is it with that? Oh well, let's continue. So, finishes. That is it. I showed you 4 finishes since my last video, and in total, I managed 12 finishes so far this year, and it is March 17th. Yeah, I don't think I can continue in that pace, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, so next up, let's talk about whips. The first one you see every single video, and it is Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is the piece I want to finish by October, and for that I need to do 750 stitches a week. And here we are. Yeah, where did I work? I think I worked mainly in this area here last time, but who knows? Yeah. I'm stitching this on 32 count Lucan by Zweigart, 2/2 with anchor 844 and 1044. Right now I am at 56.24%. I did the math, and if I continue in that pace, I should be done by the middle of September. So I already have 1 month like extra, which is good. So far, I have been keeping up, but who knows? Uh, I love this. It's a comfort stitch. I like stitching on it, and also I cannot wait to have this on my wall. The next one is a little bit of a more loose goal. This is Christmas Garden by Blackbird Designs, and I want to try to have this done by Christmas this year. And so I'm trying to do 1000 stitches every month at the end of the month, around December 24th, 25th, not December, around the 24th, 25th of each month. And in February, I managed to do that, and I haven't shown you yet. So, and March is already coming up quickly. This is what I have so far. I now finally managed to search this. This is 40 count light nougat linen by XJU Designs, and I'm using a variety of silks, Mrs. Seda silks and Silks for You, and I'm just picking and choosing for the areas that I'm stitching what color I want to use there. And yeah, last time I worked on the border a little bit, did that star here and this one, I think. And 1,000 stitches on that go quicker than you would think. So yeah, I love the border with the bright red berries. And the original is wonderful, but I just wanted it a little brighter and punchier. That's why I used different colors. Yeah, so this is, I did 1,020 stitches in February and that, and it is at 19.63%. Then last weekend I worked on Quacker Sampler by Star Parade Designs. A group of friends and me are stitching this as a stitch along, like quack along, and I'm trying to stitch on this every second Sunday of the month if I get to it. And last weekend there was a Zoom call with friends, and this is quite nice Zoom stitching. Yeah, The needle minder from Laura Cotton and Clay UK is so cute. I am stitching this on 18 count Beanstalk Ada by Fiber and Rim. Yes, Ada. It's not my favorite, but I can do it with the overdyed. I'm using Sulky and 3 colors, and now I have all 3 of the colors in. So I worked in the border here, and I'm planning to do all the little duckies in the yellow, and then just some dark blue accent, and the main color will be the turquoise. I did 430 stitches on this, and now it is on 10.64%. Slow going, but progress is progress. And the last 2 whips I worked on are my Whip Go pieces for March. I will put up the graphic that I made for Whip Go. And so far, so good. I am doing Whip Go, scooch a little bit. I'm doing Whip Go for my Babs. First project for Whip Go that I worked on is in this massive bag, mainly because there are a ton of colors and a bigger Q-snap. This is a full coverage. This is Yule Goddess by Sunflower Stitches. And yeah, I love this. I didn't even mind stitching on this Christmas piece in March. It's just so gorgeous. And while I was stitching on this, I realized that I like full coverage, but I only like it if it's bright colors. We will get into that later a little bit more. But this is where I am, and I need a backing board again. I really need to make a board. So this is how far I am. I put in 1062 stitches and I'm now at 6.13%. Yeah, I know that I put in all of the lighter green, then a little bit of the beige here and some darker green in here. What I'm doing is I'm doing page 1 and 2 and they're color completing as far as I can. So there is no real method to this madness, just pick a color that I want to stitch and then go for it. And this goes quite quickly because it's, yeah, I should mention. This is stitch 2/110 stitch on 25 count easy grid, and I'm doing it with the CXC threads. So if I come close, you can see that it's a little bit sparse in the sky, but if I go back, it looks stunning. Yeah. Awesome pattern. I like it. And I have some plans for some full coverages, but we can talk about that in plans. So this Whip Go call is complete. And the second one is another Christmas piece. Christmas in March, obviously. And this is Christmas Quaker by Daily Pattern Post. And this is not done yet because I only started on that monthly goal yesterday, but I already managed to do 318 stitches and it is now at 10.89%. I will show you in the Q-snap and then next time I will show you the whole piece. Oops. So yesterday I did that motif here. And this is on 32 count opalescent natural linen by Zweigart. 2/2 with overdyes that are messy right now. So I have a gold for accents. I have a dark green that is a DMC because I didn't find an overdye that I liked. A lighter green, white, and 2 reds. I think I talked about the colors in detail in my last video because this is already the second time this has been called for Whip Go. I worked on that in January and now in March. So every project is on my board 2 times. So this will be done for the year concerning Whip Go. I will work on that more this week for sure to get it done. I mean, to get my goal done, not the whole piece, because yeah. I have two more whips out of temperature stitching to talk about. Temperature stitching is something that I was inspired to do by Sarah Stitchy Mommy. By the way, thank you so much for the shout out. I had a little bit of a fangirl moment when you mentioned me. And I also was inspired by Jessie from Jessie Marie Desta. With temperature stitching, I picked 5 projects and signed them to digits. In my case, one for the digit 0 and 1, the second for 2 and 3, and so on. And then I take the temperature of the day. The second digit tells me what project to work on for 100 stitches. And I did a little bit of reshuffling because I finished 3 of them now. Let's talk about the 2 of the remaining whips that I stitched on. So the first one is Little Tuscany Mandala by Chatelaine Designs. I already switched this one in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago for a finish that I had with temperature stitching. So far, since I have this in temperature stitching, this got 567 stitches, which it would never have gotten if I didn't have this in temperature stitching. So for me, this is totally working. I cannot give you a total percentage on this because the Chatelaine has a lot of specialty stitches and I have it in markup, but it doesn't show me the total amount of stitches correctly. So I know that it is not too far to go because I don't have that much space on my fabric left. So this is my fabric and I think it goes up to here somewhere. This is on 32 count terracotta Lugana by Zweigart. And I worked on this piece mainly in this and this house. I did the specialty stitches of the roofs and then something in here. And the way I do temperature stitching is I want to do at least 100 stitches each time a project is called. But if I have thread left over on my needle, I will finish it. So it gets, most of the time, it gets a little bit more. And yeah. Again, so far I did only this little bit of specialty stitches, and the other stitches I did were the other stitches were just regular cross stitch, so I will have to wrap my brain around specialty stitches. I can do it, and there's beading left, but I will do that at the end. I'm stitching this with almost all of the called for specialty threads, over-dyed silks, all the jazz. And the second temperature stitching piece I worked on is the Busy Hands Happy Heart by Hello from Liz Matthews. This is a little bit of a pain to stitch, but I want it done. So yeah. In March so far, I did 511 stitches. I have 2,108 left, which leads me to 49.55%. And this is where I am. Ooh. Yeah. This is stitched on 20 count even weave 4/2. I overdyed the even weave and I'm using DMC 898. This is where I am. This is going to be such a beautiful, huge pillow, but it's a little bit exhausting to stitch, but I talked about that so many times already. So this is where this one is. The last project that I have left in my temperature stitching is Austrian Heart by Bleu de Chine, but I didn't stitch on that one in the last few weeks. So with my 2 finishes, the Seasons of the Heart Spring and the Sunflower Garden, I had 2 openings for my temperature stitching. And yes, I picked 2 pieces that are close-ish to a finish. And then I reshuffled the order I'm stitching on them. So from 0 to 1 now is Austrian Heart because it has the least amount of stitches left. Do I have the amount? No, I don't. Doesn't matter. Digits 2 and 3 is Busy Hands, Happy Heart by Hello from Liz Matthews. Digit 4 and 5 is a new entry, Henna Mandala by Ink Circles. This is my oldest WIP, and for some reason it doesn't get any progress. So yeah, here we are. I don't have it with me right now, but you will see it soon, I guess, because with temperature stitching, it should get some progress. Then digit 6 and 7 is another new entry. And this was inspired by the fact that spring is coming and I love stitching on this. This is in this project bag. And this is a little bit of spring by Blackbird Designs. I am doing a full color conversion to blues and purples. And this is where I am. This I'm doing on 46 count linen that I dyed myself. And this is my progress. So yeah, very cute. And let me show you my, that's the floss I'm using. So very different to what is called for, but I somehow wanted to do it like this. I need to type out the full conversion and put it on my Instagram, but still haven't really been on Instagram. It is what it is. So that's the new entry to temperature stitching. And then for digits 8 and 9, that's not a spot where my Chatelaine little Tuscany mandala lives. All right, that is everything I stitched on. Well, almost everything, because I stitched on a piece for like 200 stitches and then decided to UFO it. This is in this huge project bag. And in here lives my second full coverage. This is Spring Montage by Pain Free Crafts. I started this on the 1st of March last year. And so I got it out this year on the 1st of March. Started stitching and then realized, yes, it's beautiful. And I see it a lot on different channels. But I don't like to stitch on it because it's not bright enough. So this is what I got to. And I mean, here it's a little bit sparse, but if you look only at this part, it looks great. But I think if I do a full coverage, it needs to be bright colors, fun colors, maybe a little bit blocky, not muted, blending into each other like beiges, browns. It's just not fun to stitch for me on a full coverage. And so I already have a summer full coverage picked out that I really want to start. It is super fun and bright. I will, if I can find a picture, I will put it up here. And yeah, so I'm thinking now, do I want to start a new spring full coverage with bright colors? And if yes, which one? So we will see. I have a Laszlo Kodai in my stash that could work. Yeah, but for now, this is a new home because I really don't want to do a lot of muted colors in spring. Before we get into plans, let's show you my last WIP that I worked on, but it's a knitting WIP. This is the Celtic Myths Fingering Weight Shawl, and my plan is to do one repeat of the cabling a week because it's very tedious. But 2 weeks ago, when I had to go on a work trip, I worked on this in the train because the train was so shaky that I couldn't stitch, but I could knit. So I got, I think, 3 repeats done, which is so great because now this is the middle. I'm over halfway. Yay! Oh, I cannot wait. I still have to do last week's. Oopsie, but it's gorgeous. It's stunning, but it's not terribly fun to do, to be honest. But I need to get it done because I want to wear it because it's my color. So good progress on this one for once. Alrighty, we're on to plans now. As I mentioned earlier, I will be going to London next weekend. I leave on Thursday, then I have Friday in London, and then on Saturday and Sunday will be the sampler weekend of Stitch in London in Watford. I'm so looking forward to it. Amazing. I cannot wait. And for the occasion, I thought I would finally restart my Anton Uffindell by Hands Across the Sea samplers on a bigger fabric. And yeah, the problem was 46 was way too tight. I probably could have managed 40 count, but the 1/1 with the silks would still have been very tight. So I decided that I'm going for 36 count. Problem is, the chart is I think 320 by 380, about there. So on 36 count, it wouldn't fit on a fat quarter. And that meant that I had some fabric dyeing to do, and I finally got around to do it last weekend. I have that project in this project folder that I made. And yeah, as I said, I'm doing it with all of the called for silks. Very special. It's a little bit glary, but there they are. And I looked at the original fabric. I think it's Pecan Butter by Lakeside Linens. And looked at that fabric and then tried something similar. I think mine turned out a little bit darker, but that's fine. So this is what I will be stitching it on. I think it turned out great. This is 36 count linen. It was just plain white and perfect to size. And I over dyed it with rich dye. It comes across a little darker on screen than it is in real life. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to show. Showing fabric on camera is always hard. It's little more yellow and less pink in real life. It's buttery, I would say. So I used red dye in the color tan and just a tiny bit of marigold to dye this. I had this in the dye for a few minutes. That's it. Yeah. I think this is going to look great for Anton Uffindell, and I cannot wait to start it. No, 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 it won't show, but oh well, it is what it is. I really like how it turned out, and yeah, I will start this probably on Friday or on Saturday next weekend. And then while I already had all my dyeing stuff out, I also tested another fabric. I had heard so many people rave about 20 count Ada. And yes, I'm not an Ada stitcher. I don't like stitching on Ada that much. But I had this scrap left over and I thought I would over dye it and just try. Maybe I like it for small. And this is what I came up with. This time the color is quite true, maybe a little bit more pink. I added in some dusty rose to the other colors I used and dyed a little scrap of Ada. Yeah, that's quite true now. So it has those peachy and dusty pink mottling on it. So springy, and now I want to look for a small that I can try this with. Super happy how this turned out. And we will see how I like it. I mean, it's stiff, but yeah. Otherwise, I will just gift it. So that has been my fabric shenanigans. It was so fun to dye again. I haven't dyed fabric in a long time. And other plans is, of course, Fruits of Plenty every week. And then finish up my whip goggle for the Christmas Quaker. Yeah, and other than that, don't really have any plans. I'm sure I will have a start or two in London, which is fine. I'm excited about that. Yeah, I think that is it for my update today. This week, until I leave for London, I still have some things to do. I need to figure out what projects to bring. I need to finish up my table gifts and pack obviously. But I'm super, super excited to go to the retreat next weekend, and I hope to be back the weekend after that with a little bit of an update, retreat recap, and stitching. There's also the Nash Star Startathon hosted by Lindy Stitches in 2 weeks. So the weekend, the end of March. I have not decided 100% if I'm going because with the time difference, it's, I don't know. Let me know. Are you going? Do you plan to be there? Yeah. As I said, don't know yet. Maybe the ticket is not too expensive, so probably. But I'm rambling. Life update wise, at the end, there's not too much going on. I'm super excited for spring, for warmer weather, for more daylight. So, yeah, but that's not news. I think before I start to talk about stuff no one wants to hear and that's not interesting, I think I will leave it at that. Thank you so, so much for clicking on my video and watching. If you liked it, I would really appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up or commented. That would mean a lot to me. And with that, I hope to see you soon. Bye.